Today's episode is going to be interesting. Now, as you know, we will continue with more of the G1 Climax by New Japan. So we are now in day 14. So we have begun with eliminations in the tournament, who will not be proceeding even further, even though we continue with the matches. And of course, we will see who is in the lead. I believe we're doing the A block matches, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check. Yeah. No, B block matches, my bad. So yes, we're doing B block matches only. So buckle up on that. And then of course we will be starting up. Of course, as you all know, I'm trying to catch up with Stardom. As you all probably can guess, we already begun the Star Grand Prix, the annual round robin tournament. So we'll see how day one rolls up, since it's the opening round. So we're gonna see how things will progress from there. And then, of course, we'll cap up our episode as usual with a very short news update to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or nice comments in the description down below. Now, enough with the jibber jabbers. Let's get to it. So, as I said, Stardom has begun with the annual round robin tournament, the 5-star Grand Prix. So let's begin with the opening rounds. Okay, Stardom, the 5-star Grand Prix. Now, for many of you are not familiarized with this tournament, this is an actual round robin tournament, just like the G1. So basically the same point-based system. If you win a match, you get 2 points. If you lose a match, 0 points. But in a situation of a double countout or time limit draw, that sort of thing, well, the competitors get 1 point each. And the winner, of course, will get an opportunity to challenge for the World of Stardom Championship against Kamitani, and I'm going to presume that this match could take place at the end of the year, at the Dream Queen Star event that takes place in late December. And of course, last year we didn't have that. Of course, it was Micah who won last year, but she did not take that route. She just took it early. I think the champion at the time was Tam Nakano. So that's pretty much it. So we will go through the entirety of the event. Now, of course, this event took place back on July 27th at the Ottawa General Gymnasium. They opened up with the ceremony on who's participating, such as, of course, Kamitani, Starlight Kid, Saori Anu, Natsupoi, Aya Sakura, Yuna Mizumori, Sekurara, um, Azumi, Mei Seta, Miyu Amasaki, and everybody else from almost every faction except for the rookies, such as Akira Kurugani, Emi Maishima, and of course, what's her name? Kyuku, what's her name? Kikyo Furuzawa, yeah. So, I mean, there's other rookies too. They're out, but these two are these are the only rookies that are not in. So you can guess in that perspective. Now, our first match is part of the Red Star A block. We have Lady C versus Saya Kamitani. Now, of course, it's no secret about these two, about their background. Once members of Queen's Quest, and of course, that's the whole thing. Now, of course, Lady C's bigger advantage is her size. She's a bit more taller than Kamitani, but Kamitani, as you know, she's ruthless, she's dangerous, she'll do whatever it takes to pick up the win. And she picked up the win by applying, of course, the Hurricanrana, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, she gained her first 2 points. Next up, we have the Blue Star A block. We have Aya Sakura versus Ami Sori. Now, of course, this one, of course, I had a feeling it was going to go with Ami Sori because she is a bit of a strong house. Now, don't get me wrong, Aya Sakura is growing a bit more, but however, she needs to learn. I mean, she is a good striker, but however, it was Ami Sori with the like a thunderbolt onto on Sakura that allowed her to pick up her first 2 points. 1, 2, 3. It was over. Now, our next match, we continue more with the Blue Star A block. We have Yuria Him making her 5-star Grand Prix debut, taking on Miyu Amasaki. Now, of course, you probably can guess that this match was going to fall in favor of Amasaki since she has been in the tournament before. She was able to pick up the win with her when she applied the Tenzai, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, she picked up her first 2 points. Now we jump into the Red Star B block match. We have Rina versus Rian. So of course, Rian, as you know, she is a bit of this is her first time participating in this tournament. I had a feeling that this was not going to go in her way because Rina, as you know, we've seen her grown up. Not to mention she holds the longest record for the longest reign, and of course most defense records as a future champion. And of course, it was her who was going to pick up the win when she applied the Pink Devil onto Rian, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match is the Blue Star B block. We have the 2 Momos, Momo Watanabe and, of course, Momo Kogo. It's no secret when it comes to Momo Watanabe. She is ruthless, and, of course, she likes to cheat by using her bat. But she was able to pick up the win instead of using her usual tricks. She used a chokehold, and just like that, Momo Kogo had no choice but to tap out, and giving her Momo Watanabe her first 2 points. The next match is the Red Star A block. We have Waka Tsukiyama versus Mei Sita. Very interesting match. This one ended in 28 seconds because, as you know, Mei Sita is a high-speed wrestler, and she basically used a shooting star onto her, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. So Mei Sita picked up her first 2 points. Now we jump back with the Blue Star B block. We have Hina versus Suzuki. Of course, Hina, as you know, is the current future champion, but she's taking on Suzuki, who is in fact a much dangerous wrestler who likes, to beat people up. And of course, it was going to fall in her favor because she applied the tequila shot, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Zuzu picked up her first 2 points. Now we jump into the Blue Star B block. We have Rana Yagami versus Hanako. So of course, factors of this one, Rana Yagami has a great striking ability and martial arts background. But when it comes to Hanako, it's all about brute force and of course powerhouse in every way possible. But she was able to pick up the win when she applied the infamous JP Coaster, a move that was gifted to her by Himeka, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Hanako picked up her first 2 points. Now we jump into the Red Star A block. We have B Priestley making her return to Stardom, she faces Yuna Mizumori. So, of course, this is her first time in 6 years she participates in this tournament. She was able to pick up the win when she applied the plan B, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, she picked up her first 2 points. Next up, we have Azusa Inaba versus Hana. Now, of course, it's no secret these two ladies know each other too well. And not to mention, of course, Azusa Inaba is tag team partners with her little sister, Rina. But of course, and Rina decided to get involved by tripping on her sister, getting her sister tripped up, giving, of course, the opportunity for Azusa Inaba to pick up the pinfall. Of course, Rina is intending to humiliate her sister one way or the other to prove her point. But I'm sure Hana would love nothing more to get her hands on her. Our next match, this one is a battle of Haas's Raka versus Bozilla. Of course, Raka was trying to find ways to dismantle Bozilla because Bozilla is a much stronger and much taller individual. She tried to soften her up outside the ring, but it did not go according to plan because this match ended in a double countout. So basically, it was a draw after 8 minutes and 42 seconds. So Bozilla and Raka will get 1 point each. Now, our next match, we have Saya Ida versus Sayuri Anu. Now, Saya Ida, as you all know, she is small, but she is a bit of a powerhouse for her size. I mean, she has stood toe-to-toe against people like Honoka, Bozilla, and possibly Raka, but she's facing Sayuri Anu, who is a bit more different than any other competitor. But Sayuri Anu was able to pick up her first 2 points by applying a submission, and of course, Ida had no choice but to tap out. Now, our next 3 matches are the Red Star B block. We have Natsuko Tora versus Azumi. Of course, it's no secret about these two ladies that they hate each other for obvious reasons. I'm sure Azusa Inaba hasn't forgotten about the humiliation that Natsuko Tora has took a toll on her during the time of Queen's Quest, and now this. But it was, of course, Natsuko Tora. Azumi attacked Natsuko Tora right before the bell, thinking this would help, but it did not do any well. But it was a pinfall by Natsuko Tora that picked up the win, and she gets her first 2 points. And just like that, it was over. Next up, we have Tomoka Inaba versus Starlight Kid. I have to say, Starlight Kid really went to a very extreme challenge in this match, because Tomoka Inaba, as you all know, she's trained in martial arts, and she's a good striker too, just like any other person we've seen. Many people might have assumed that Starlight Kid would have picked up the win, but nope. It was Tomoka Inaba with, of course, a submission, and just like that, Starlight Kid had no choice but to tap out. Our next match, we have, of course, Konami versus Suri. Now, of course, and many of you may or may not know this, Suri has been booed by the fans because she has criticized the talent of Stardom, because they're saying they're not actual pro wrestlers because the way they wrestle and all that. But Konami, as you know, well, she wanted to show her who's boss, and she was able to pick up the win by, of course, giving her the chokehold. But Suri refuses to give up. She did not tap out, so this was ended by referee's discretion. But of course, Konami is saying that, she avenged Shooty for the loss of the IWGP title. I'm sure Shooty's like saying, I didn't ask you for revenge after you betrayed me. I wouldn't be surprised if Shooty tells her that. But of course, Konami is willing to admit that she hits hard. I don't think she would have imagined it, but sooner or later, I'm sure Suri will rectify that loss. As for our main event, this one's an interesting one. It's a showdown between the Cosmic Angels, Sayaka Kurara, and of course Natsupoi. Now, of course, this is a very interesting moment. I'm sure Kurara, as you all know, she was still dealing with the loss of Tam Nakano, being forced to retire, but now she's facing one of the de facto leaders of Cosmic Angels, Natsupoi. So Kurara has to put up her A game, knowing that she's not facing someone that it's easy to defeat. She's facing someone who is a bit more faster. She can hit hard, and she does have strong, a good fighting spirit, and that's something I'm sure Kurara has to channel. But unfortunately, that did not do any well, because of course it was the fairy ring by Natsupoi that allowed her to pick up her win, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. And of course, Natsupoi had the pleasure to close down the show. So as you all know, everybody except, of course, Everybody has their first 2 points, except of course for Raka and Bozilla. They all got only 1 point each because this was our only match that features, of course, a double countout. We so far haven't had a time limit draw yet, so this is the first one so far. Now we move on to our last and final review, which is New Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay, final review, New Japan Pro Wrestling with day 14 of the G1 Climax, and we're going to focus on the B block. But first things first, let's get this out of the way. As you all know, because of Gabe Kidd's, of course, out of the G1 and all his matches are forfeit, he was scheduled to face the Great Khan. So, because of this, he gained 2 points. So now he's at the total of 8. So that pretty much sums it up right there. Now, our first match of the B block, we have Yoshihashi versus El Phantasmo. I have to say, the match was pretty good. However, this is where things will get a little tricky for all of you before we move on to the next match. But the match itself was unbelievable. I mean, many people might have rooted for. There was a 50-50 split between the fans, between El Phantasmo and Yoshihashi. But it was, of course, El Phantasmo with a combination of Burning Hammer and Thunder Kiss 86 that allowed him to gain his next 2 points. Next 2 points is 6. However, because of the situation of Gabe Kidd, he does gain another 2 points later on next week, the next event. But he's officially out of the tournament. He will continue, but he cannot, because of the necessary points, he cannot proceed any further. So he's currently out of the tournament as well. Now, our next match, we have Drilla Maloney versus Zack Sabre Jr. I thought this match was amazing for obvious reasons. Now, many of you know I mentioned this countless times. As much as I talk about Zack Sabre Jr. being an amazing technical wrestler, you look at Drilla Maloney, how much he has grown up, because he started out as a junior heavyweight, made the jump to heavyweight, and he was impressive in every way possible. And I think that's one of the things that many people can stand by him. And I think Zack Sabre Jr. knew right from the beginning that this is not a guy who you see him, oh, he was a junior back then, but now he has grown up. But somehow Zack Sabre Jr., because as you know, is one of his nicknames as the technical wizard, he was able to pull up a submission move, and just like that, Drilla Maloney tapped out, giving him his next 2 points. And currently right now, Zack Sabre Jr. is in the lead with 12 points. So most likely he could actually walk out to represent the B block. Now, in the post-match comments, he went to talk to Drilla Maloney, told him that he believes something in him. He sees that it's inevitable that one day Drilla Maloney can surpass him. So I think Drilla Maloney was a bit surprised hearing that from Zack, despite that Drilla Maloney can be a bit of an a-hole, but I think he sees that maybe it is a possibility. And he told him, go take a shower. So I think he tells him that, thank you. And he knows that he could surpass him. I mean, Drilla Maloney is, in my opinion, he could eventually do great things now, you know, as a foreign wrestler in New Japan. Now, our next match, we have Ren Narita versus Shingo Takagi. Now, of course, when it comes to Ren Narita, you know that the House of Losers were going to be there one way or the other. We saw Kanemaru, he attacked Shingo right before the bell, which obvious, we know it was going to happen. But it did not stop there. Of course, we did see Kanemaru pull the ref when Shingo was on the verge of winning the match. But I have to say, the one thing that saved the day was Daiki Nagai. As you know, he's part of the unaffiliated with Shingo, Hiramu, and Yodatsuji. That this allowed him to, of course, for Shingo to apply the last of the dragons, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. But this leads, of course, with Shingo with the total points of 8 points, leaving Ren Narita with 10. Now, our main event, this one is a very interesting one. We have Konosuke Takeshita versus Shota Umino. Now, Takeshita, as you know, some people see how much he's talented, and of course, he is a bit more tougher than any other opponent that Shota Umino has ever applied. And of course, that's exactly what he tried to do. Konosuke Takeshita tried everything humanly possible to put him down, but in the end, it was Shota Umino with the second chapter, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. So right now, Shota Umino leaves with 8 points, leaving Takeshita with 10. Now, however, as I mentioned before, El Phantasmo is out of the tournament. So far, Yoshihashi with 8 points, Joel Maloney with 8 points. So is Shingo and Shota Umino. Red Narita and Konosuke Takeshita with 10 points. Zack Sabre Jr. With total 12. So basically, if he stays in this trajectory for Zack Sabre Jr., he could be safe and move on to the rounds if that's the case. But you have to look at, of course, Yoshihashi, Maloney, Narita, Shota Umino, Tagagi, and Umino. Things could happen for those guys. Things could change. But we'll see what happens. But as of right now, we are done with New Japan. Let's move on to our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So let's begin. We only have one update on the upcoming events. As you know, we have the Fantastica Mania collaboration taking place in the UK on the 18th of October in the UK, and they just announced, and Speake will be, of course, participating. Now to our developments. This one was coming from Fightful Select. It was reported that the Gates of Agony, Teo Leona, and Bishop Khan has signed a long-term multi-year contracts with AEW. So basically, they're going to be staying there for a long time. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are saying that they will love to see them win the tag team belts. We'll see what things will roll out. Now, as you all mentioned, I mentioned this before, there's been talk about a TV deal for TNA. It's either A&E or CW. Now, it's been reported that there's been talk about that for quite, but it's expected to be announced in the next 60 days. So we'll see how things will roll up from there. But as of right now, we are officially done with everything, so let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you all know, we have AEW Collision. This is going to be a very exciting. As you know, we're getting closer and closer now to Forbidden Door. I can't wait to see what's going to happen, so stay tuned for that. I haven't decided what others I'm going to be reviewing, but we'll just have to wait and see. But as of right now, I will say this, that I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.